Dr. Sujatha, let me welcome you to one of our first series in health and wellness. Before I could start, let me congratulate you on a successful launch of your book, which is Just Being, which was launched in May 2022. Uh, Obviously, you might have heard a lot of questions about wellness. So, a primary question: what is wellness?
Yeah. So wellness is actually a state of mind, okay, which is when you are well prepared to handle any type of stress. It is actually a state of mind, okay.
Right.
So I can give an example, a real life example. There are two students who are preparing for the same exam. One of them learns by rote and the other one learns through concepts. Okay,
Right.
so when they go and sit for the exam, the one who has learnt by rote, okay, has a bit of preoccupation because his level of preparation is going to be tested by the questions that are going to be asked. Whereas the one who's prepared by concepts, he's actually going to be a little anxious, yes, but he's also going to be excited because he wants to test his understanding of the questions, okay.
Right.
So when they are writing the exam, the ability to be present is a little bit marred for the person who's learned by rote, and the person who's learned conceptually is going to be very well prepared for that, and he's going to be present totally. And if you want to perform well anywhere, for example, our life, okay, our life is also stress. If you want to prepare, if you want to do well in life, then it's in our ability to be present to
Correct.
do well.
Correct.
Okay, so wellness is actually a state of mind that handles you and teaches you how to be present while handling stress. This is wellness.
Very nice, very nice. Nice explanation. Okay, so there is a there are a lot of wellness centers we see across places. There are places like spa. There are places spiritual centers also. They also say they are kind of a wellness center only. So how different it is from you taking a wellness route and they taking their own way of wellness route. How it is different both.
Yeah, so I said wellness is a state of mind, right?
Right.
Wellness is actually also looking from the other side. It is the ability to come to terms with your environment as quickly as possible. If you know how to come to terms with your environment quickly, then you can be well. That means you're mentally prepared to handle that, okay? When you visit the spas, okay, or resorts or any ashram, the external environment is going to be fine because it is generally full of nature, and it's very easy to come to terms with such. There's going to be some silence and you are with nature, and it's going to be easy to come to terms with that kind of environment, okay. What we do at the wellness clinic is that we raise the bar for your internal environment.
Right.
So the ability to come to terms with any environment is not only the external but also internal. So we raise the bar for your internal environment so that when they come back from the spa, they come back to the same stressful situation as before. But when you come to the clinic, you raise the internal environment, the bar for the internal environment, and you can handle everyday stress. There is no stress to go back to. You become so adept at handling everyday stress that everyday living becomes inspirational.
Right.
And that's what is beautiful, isn't it? If your everyday living can become inspirational, then it is beautiful living.
Right.
You don't need to go to the spa. And another thing is, not everyone can afford resorts and spas, and everyone has things that they have to do in life.
Right.
So this is what we do at our clinic.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. While I was going inside your clinic, I saw a lot of these karma charts there.
Yeah.
So would you be able to explain what exactly this karma chart is? So
Yeah.
even the viewers can understand what exactly is this.
So I have this with me, the chart, okay, which I have prepared out of my own internal awakening,
Right,
okay.
right.
So you can see that there are 3 triangles, okay, and you have the first triangle here,
Right.
okay. Now in nature, okay, there is something called corollary, which is also true. Like if the angles of a triangle are 60 degrees, then the sides will be equal for an equilateral triangle. The corollary is also true. If the sides are equal, then the angle is 60 degrees. Okay, so it is for everything in nature.
Right.
Okay, so for example, we take the first triangle. It has food, it has water and oxygen, okay, that is breathing, okay. So if all these are kept properly, then our internal environment will be perfect.
Correct.
It is not possible to actually expect everything to be proper, okay. So that is fine, okay. So our internal environment is the main subject of internal environment is our thoughts, okay. That is our internal environment, okay. So we put the thought in the next triangle, that is you have the thought, okay, and now these thoughts have to be expressed in the environment for the thoughts to be seen, okay. But what is it about expressing it in the environment, okay? You need autonomy for expression. First you need to express, and that expression has some rules. It has to be timely, it has to be with methods that are close to nature, natural ways of expression, okay. And it has to be polite, and it should not harm anyone in the environment as well as our own, okay. So these are the rules of expression. Even to that you need autonomy. That is, the environment should be allowing of you to express that, okay. So if the thoughts find expression and autonomy, then the thoughts can be said in the environment, and then it will be seen. When the thoughts are seen, that means they are realized. Now what you do once the thought is realized, okay, another fresh thought can come, and if you have the expressive autonomy, then the thought comes, you can express and realize, express and realize. That is wellness, okay. The thought comes and you're able to express along safe pathways of expression, so the thought does not remain. When a thought remains unexpressed, it causes illness, okay. Now when the thoughts get realized, okay, then you have to do something, isn't it? Because the thought cannot just be expressed, you have to go and do something to bring about a good change, okay. So when the thought gets realized, you do, but you will find that for yourself the thought is realized, but when you're doing, you will be doing for others, okay. So do is kar. You do, okay. Do, it's a verb, okay. Thought is a noun, kar is a do, okay. So you're doing, and when you're not doing, that is also very important. When you, how are you going to be when you're not doing? The thought is realized, but how are you? That is a very special way to be, okay, and that is called just being, which is the title of my book. And that one of the primary constituents of that state is to be with gratitude for life. And to whom would you give gratitude for life except your parents and ma? Basically the first on the list is the mother, okay. So it is karma. So this is my explanation for karma.
So if the thought, if it doesn't get into an action, okay, then is there any kind of a negative
so if the thoughts, okay, are not released, okay, then thoughts are actually held inside, okay. Now and if it keeps on accumulating, okay, like for example, it prevents further processing of the thought. It is just like a computer, okay. There is only that much memory the computer chip can hold, okay. If you go on feeding it, one day it's not going to process whatever comes in, okay. Now, for example, you see the inability to process information realistically, that is called dementia. Okay, if you, for example, if you take, I am a pathologist. Okay, so if you take the section of the brain from a patient of Alzheimer's and put it under the microscope and see, you will see accumulations, and those are called beta 2 microglobulin. Okay, it is accumulated thoughts which did not find expression.
Okay.
Okay,
And that aggravated the disease. You are saying.
and that just held holds space, and when it holds space, further processing gets obstructed.
Correct.
And when further processing gets obstructed, it can go so bad that you may not be able to live a normal life. You can become dependent, and that's what people do not want. That is called dementia.
Right.
Okay, so let's go to the old corollary geometry rule. There is a beautiful way. Okay, so if the thoughts are there, you have to express. So why not have thoughts which you can express?
Right. Just one more question on this,
Yes.
Dr. Sujatha. Does the first top pyramid, where food, water, and oxygen,
The first triangle.
the first triangle,
Yeah.
If it is balanced, the thoughts are balanced.
Yes.
If it is balanced, so
Yes.
the right thoughts
Yes.
generate
So
from there. That's for.
you can say that.
Yeah.
I'll just explain that a little bit in detail. Let's come to the first triangle. Okay, you have food, water, and oxygen.
Right,
Okay,
right.
now if you see the geography of the world, okay, it is not that everything is available at all times. Even in an hour of a person's life, it's not possible to have everything. I may want water now, but I cannot drink it because I'm in the middle of a show, right?
Right.
So, but I should know how to come to equilibrium with
Right,
that, okay?
right.
So food, water, and oxygen, okay? It's very less times that everything is available at all times.
Correct.
Okay, so we need to figure out what is it that we can do, okay, to get this to an equilibrium.
Correct.
And most often that equilibrium is tilted by the oxygen and the breathing.
Oh, by oxygen and breathing.
By the oxygen and breathing, most often.
Right.
So, if there is food and water, if there is an imbalance, okay, you can use your breathing skills to be at equilibrium for some period of time. You can use your breathing skills, and the reverse happens in diseases. So when there is food and water or unawareness, actually it's not just food and water, it's also the unawareness of such, how to actually have food, how to actually have water. Then the breathing shifts also.
Right.
And then we end up with an internal environment that causes stress to ourselves.
Correct. Right. Okay. Now, because Sujatha, you mentioned about stress.
Yeah.
So now stress is a very common disease. I've seen in corporate life, everyone is suffering from stress. So can you define how what is this stress all about, and how this can be controlled or managed?
So we just define wellness as the ability to come to terms with the environment quickly.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So how can you be well? Well is when you can have a thought that can be expressed in a very non-judgmental and safe environment, isn't it?
Right,
Okay. That allows you to express without having the fear of being judged.
Right.
Okay. Now, everyday, day-to-day life, and also specifically in the corporate life, okay, there are so many other factors that determine everyday life there. For example, there may be targets to keep. There may be some budgeting to do.
All right.
Okay, so what happens is that there is stress is actually thought build up, unexpressed thought build up,
Right.
and lack of expression and
Expression.
autonomy.
Yeah, correct.
So especially in a corporate setup, there is a need to come out as different from what you're feeling.
Right.
Okay, so your internal environment is saying something, and you have to express differently into the external environment. So the thought builds up, and thought build up will cause stress.
Correct.
This is stress, and there is an inability to come to terms with the environment.
Right.
So suppose not all the times that you can express a thought immediately after it comes.
Right.
Very few people
Right.
have
Exactly.
that opportunity and blessing to do
Yeah.
that. Even I can't do that. Okay, so there is a way to hold that thought. Okay, so hold that thought without affecting your own internal environment.
Right.
If the holding the thought is going to affect your own internal environment, the first victim of stress is you. This is stress, inability to come to terms
Yeah.
with the environment, and
Right.
this corporate setup is a perfect place, incubator for this kind of stress to build up because of the need to come out as somebody else.
Correct. Right. So your internal environment is telling you that expression route should be something else.
Yeah.
But the corporate life is not allowing you
Yeah.
to express it in that
Yeah,
way.
and I won't blame, because you need to earn.
Yeah.
You need to do something for yourself.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so I don't blame it, but there is a way to handle that stress.
Right.
Okay, you're going to hold the thought, right? We teach how to hold the thought when it is not the right time to express without it affecting you.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So now I have few questions more, madam. So in this, in the session, when the karma question, you did say about the equilibrium can be maintained through oxygen, and you're through breathing. In fact, through breathing, right? So and you were also mentioning about being present at that point of time. So, and what is this presence breathing all about? If you can just give us something or a demo, whatever it is.
Yeah. So what actually I want to say is that in the first triangle where we had food, water and oxygen, right? For example, you just take the COVID pandemic, okay? What happened during the second and third waves, okay? So people did not know how to be present with the stress.
Right.
And it is not, the environment is giving the oxygen. There was oxygen in the environment, but people did not know how to use it, okay? So we actually had to manufacture oxygen and push it into their system so that they can be kept alive, okay? But suppose we as a country had trained people to breathe properly, okay, so that you can efficiently use the oxygen that is there in the environment. If one knows that, okay, there is stress, there you have the virus inside you, you just be present with the virus. All you need is just for a few hours, maybe just be present with it, okay? So when you're present with it, okay, there is no stress any longer, because the oxygen you use, okay, will be so efficient that the way the primary thing to understand in this is that the body and the mind have to communicate with each other, okay? And any stress, okay, is handled by them together through cooperation. And the way the mind communicates with the body is through instruction, through the thoughts. The way the body communicates with the mind, which is the most important thing, the body is expressing to the mind. Everything is a thing of expression, right? The body expresses through the mind by breathing. If you breathe properly, the body will tell the mind, I am okay, you don't have to worry, and there is no COVID.
Right.
So you just have to take that little bit time to tell the mind, COVID भाई आया है लेकिन मैं ठीक हूँ. So you do the breathing in such a way that the oxygen sent to the brain, okay, is correctly sent. Then the brain understands, अरे भाई इसको कुछ problem नहीं है, मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है. Then you don't suffer the disease.
Right.
Okay. So this is called actually presence breathing.
Right.
Okay, you're present with the stress.
Right.
Okay, you acknowledge and accept the stress and you're present with it. This is called present breathing. It's very easy to say, like you will see people telling that don't be worried about the future, don't be worried about the past, be only worried about the present. That is the theory.
Right.
You actually have to show, right? How do you be present?
Right.
For if you're willing to be present with stress, there will be no longer any stress.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And this is called presence breathing.
Right. Correct. So, so there are different types of breathing also. I because in one of these things I've seen, so is there a demo that we can see how, what are different types of breathing, so that viewers can understand how exactly you should breathe,
Yeah.
and so that you can maintain your own equilibrium. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your Brahmastra to handle stressful situation is breathing.
Right.
Okay, it is it's actually cliche. Okay, because when you take an injection, when you went to take the vaccine, the sister, the nurse, attending nurse there would have told you, take a deep breath now. Okay, so your Brahmastra to handle a stressful situation is breathing.
Right.
Okay, now this is called presence breathing. Okay, so I can demonstrate to you how it is done, and we can in a short way, but I want to tell our viewers that this requires practice. Okay,
Right.
so at the clinic we teach this breathing.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
first in the lying down position. So once it is perfected in the lying down position, okay, then in a semi reclining position,
Right.
and then even while sitting you
Right.
can be breathing present.
Right.
You have that Brahmastra with you.
Correct.
This is the Brahmastra, this is your preparation.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, hi again. So you may have heard that everyone saying that you should not think about the future, you should not think about the past, and you should be in the present. Life is really about being present throughout our lifetime. But how exactly do you do it? It's easy to say be present, but can anyone please show me the way to be present? And that's the exact point of this video. Here I am going to first of all give you the scientific reason of breathing present, and then we will actually show you how presence breathing is done. So, I have a volunteer here, and I want to give you the scientific reason that the breathing should be, we are born breathing abdominothoracic. Okay, this is how a newborn child, a normal newborn child would breathe. The child would breathe breathing abdominothoracic. The maximum leverage is from the abdomen and not from the chest. As we go on in life, we actually forget how to breathe, and our breathing becomes totally haywire, and it actually becomes chest to abdomen, which is actually wrong. When you breathe predominantly through the chest, you are sending an impulse to the brain saying that your body is stressed, and the brain will put out stress hormones. Okay, so we have to correct the breathing to how a child would breathe, that is abdominothoracic. Now, why abdominothoracic? The muscle that helps us to breathe is here. It is called the diaphragm. It is attached to the rib margin here. It separates the abdomen from the chest. Now, this muscle, when it goes down, it opens the lungs and fills it with air. and when it goes up, that is when it relaxes, it pushes the air out. So when it goes down, it pulls the air, that is we inhale the air, and when it goes up, it pushes the air out, so we exhale. Okay, so this is operating by the bellows method. This muscle, diaphragmatic muscle, is primary to our breathing, and we have to leverage its power to the maximum. This muscle, if pulling down fills the chest with air, then you cannot push it by breathing through the chest. You have to pull it from the abdomen. Okay, so when you do abdominal breathing, your abdominal muscles pull the diaphragm down very efficiently so as to pull the oxygen into the lungs, and on its own, its natural movement, it will collapse and the air comes out in exhalation. So now I am going to demonstrate to you the actual way of doing it. Our viewers are advised to try this in the lying down position, starting with 2 to 3 times in a day for not exceeding 3 minutes. And this breathing should be followed by a glass of water, because when you make your breathing efficient, when you exhale, a greater amount of water is being exhaled, so you have to compensate that by correcting the water. Okay, so my volunteers now going to lie down. This is a demonstration. It would be advisable to find a quiet place anywhere that you are there and find a comfortable position to lie down. Okay, comfortable place to lie down. And the next 3 minutes belongs to you, and you are the master of those 3 minutes. Okay, now we are going to show you how to exactly breathe, that is abdominothoracic. Okay, so what you have to do is, it's not you this whole area is not the focus, the mid abdomen. Okay, so here we have the umbilicus, so the little finger goes on the umbilicus, and the ring, middle and the index finger are pressing slightly. So there is a 4 finger breadths upward of the umbilicus. Please note, don't press. 4 finger breadths upward of the umbilicus. The thumb is pointing upward. Okay, this is the position. Umbilicus, the little finger, and the 4 finger breadths upward of the umbilicus. The thumb is pointing upwards. Okay, this is the presence area in the abdomen. The movement cannot extend too much below the little finger. That causes future worries. The breathing, people who breathe from here, they will have future thoughts, and people who move too much into the chest area from above the index finger, they will have too much of past thoughts. This area, the 4 finger breadths on the umbilicus and above, 3 finger breadths above, this is the presence area. And you can see the volunteer breathing quietly, getting aware. You can see that he is breathing quietly and he is aware of the breath there. This is the presence area, and you can slowly be aware of your breath there. This is the first help that this is the first step towards transformation. That is your breath awareness in the correct area with the correct way of breathing. Umbilicus and 3 finger breadths above. So totally 4 finger breadths. Make sure that the lower part of the abdomen does not move. Make sure the upper part of the index finger does not move much. Little bit movement is okay, but not too much. When you're breathing like this, you are breathing present. As an extension of this presence breathing, you can have 5 breaths of breath awareness, and the 6th one can go a deep heave, and you can visually imagine yourself sending oxygen to the whole body. So, yeah. So we have the volunteer with the fingers positioned correctly, the little finger on the umbilicus and the 3 fingers above that. So 4 finger breaths in the mid abdomen is the presence area starting from the umbilicus. And you can watch the volunteer breathing. It's a very relaxed breathing. So the first 5 breaths will be breath awareness. That is a very relaxed breathing. The volunteer is aware of his own breath now. The 6th breath should be something where he does something. That is, he'll take a deep breath and he will push it through the, imagine the oxygen going throughout the body. Again, there will be, say, 5 breaths which are awareness, and again the 6th breath will be a heave. So our volunteer is going to demonstrate. Now this is 1, this is the breath awareness, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the 6th breath should be a heave. जोर से लेना. हाँ. Go down. Yes. Abhi 5 breaths will be normal breath awareness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the 6th breath, जोर से, it will be a good heave. Yes. You can see? Yes. Now go down slowly. Go down slowly. Yeah. So this actually mimics the normal pattern of breathing, where at some regular intervals you take a sigh, a deep heave. Okay, that will actually correct your breathing. So we are actually doing that, and this is the correct way to breathe. Okay, you can see that his lower abdomen is not moving much, the upper part is not moving much, and this is the one. Little bit movement is okay, that does not matter at all. Okay. So you can do this for 3 minutes in a day for about 2 to 3 times and gradually increase it. And please remember that once it is done, you have to turn to one side, get up and have a glass of water, which is what he is going to do.
Dr. Sujatha, one more question we had. In fact, if you can just explain what actually is being present, you know.
Being
if
present.
Yeah, if you can elaborate on that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a very kind of, everyone is present, but people still don't understand, what is being actually being present.
Yeah, it's a very nice question and one that I would love to answer. Okay, so being present, like for example, a child who is present in the classroom would learn the maximum, right? Okay. But many children are present in the classroom without any concentration. So being present means being alive to the situation.
Right.
Okay, so that you can learn the maximum from that situation,
right,
and therefore later change becomes very easy,
right,
because you learn the maximum from that situation.
Right.
Stress is one situation. Lot of good things is also also happens by being present.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And this presence requires your willingness.
Right.
Okay. I am using an important word. It's called willingness,
Right,
which has the word will in it. Okay. That word will is very important. Okay. This willingness is what is required. So when you are present and alive to the situation with a very minuscule amount of will, okay, then your learning would be 100%. You will learn everything about that. It will be a very nuanced learning of that system which you are in.
Right,
okay,
right.
so you can handle similar systems later in life without stress.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just mentioned about willingness, so willpower. So what exactly is this? If you can just also
Willingness.
elaborate on this. Yeah. What is this willpower?
I said being present requires a minuscule amount of will,
Right.
where only minuscule. Okay. Now, this will comes from willpower.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, willpower is a function of conscious brain. Okay.
Correct.
Subconscious is nothing to do with it. It is a function of the conscious brain which allows you to move around in order to get things done.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Okay, it
Right.
allows you to move around in order to get things done.
Done.
Now, human beings, okay, are given a certain amount of willpower at birth. Now, we have to understand that this willpower is a expendable commodity like fossil fuel.
Right.
Okay, you will be, suppose I say, Madhu, I give you 1 liter of petrol, तुम इसको 10 दिन चलाना, इसके ऊपर नहीं मिलेगा. So how would you do it? You will have coping mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
Willpower is like that. It is, we are given a certain amount at birth.
Right.
And we have to see how we are using it. Okay, we have to use it very judiciously.
Right.
Now, I told you that being present means being present with little amount of will. So, if you have a life in which you, because you have to learn maximum, that willingness is required. Okay.
Right.
Now, suppose you, the entire life you have been present with little bit amount of will, you can imagine how much you would have learned and how easy it is to bring about change.
Right.
This is the most important. You need willpower to bring about a change.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Now, if you overdraw on the willpower, then you will, it's like overdrawing from the account in your from your account in the bank.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You will, as life goes on, you will end up in a situation where you have life but there is no willpower and you can't bring about change.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
To be present, you need a minuscule of willpower. एक बूंद सागर बनती है.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
But if you overdraw on the willpower, you will attain a situation where you will have life but there is no willpower because you cannot bring about change. Okay?
Right.
And that situation where you have life but no willpower is roughly equal to dementia again. You
Correct.
see how the circles are connecting?
Yeah.
Okay, all the lines are
Exactly.
connecting. So this is the thing about willpower, that you need to conserve it and use it judiciously. So during early times when human beings evolved, it was needed for them to hunt because willpower is something which allows you to move to get things
Correct.
done, right?
Correct.
So it was needed to go and hunt, gather water and stuff. It was a very physically brutal life.
Right. Right.
Then man became settled and it became very comfortable. Now what is the situation? Now we have too much of superfluous willpower,
Correct.
isn't it?
Correct.
Then man said he understood in a very different way that this willpower, he need not use it on himself, he can use it on another person and he can get things done by that person.
Right.
And he became directive. Okay, so it says, do as I say, or my way or highway. Such things came up.
Correct. Right.
Okay,
Right.
because he is now directing to get things done from another person.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
now this became, it has dire consequences. When you direct someone, you can see how expression and autonomy are curtailed for that person.
Right.
And little bit like in the
Stress,
corporate
yeah.
environment,
True.
that person,
Right.
and this person is overdrawing on his willpower.
Right.
The thing is, you need that willpower for yourself to bring about a good change in yourself.
Right.
But this person is overdrawing and he is using it on another person.
Correct.
So
To get his things
yeah.
done. Yeah.
So there are two people being affected.
Right.
One who is not able to express he is accumulating,
Yeah.
and the other one who's overdrawing on the willpower.
Yeah.
Nothing is just right anymore.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we need to conserve the willpower to be present.
Right.
Okay, and to use it judiciously so that we can bring about a good change. For if you can bring about a good change,
Right.
it is but natural that you will bring about a good change in the environment.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sujatha. So it was great talking to you. So we'll continue with this more of such series with you. Okay, and thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.